My husband's affair led me to reconnect with my high school sweetheart. 18 months later, I'm living my best life while he's struggling to stay sober. I never thought I'd be in this situation, but here I am, pouring my heart out to strangers on the internet. My name is Sarah, 28F, and I've been married to Tom, 30M, for 5 years. Our story began in college, where we met during our sophomore year. I was a shy art major, and Tom was the charismatic business student everyone seemed to know. We were paired up for a project in an elective philosophy class, and despite our different personalities, we clicked instantly. Our romance blossomed quickly. Tom brought me out of my shell, encouraging me to showcase my artwork and introducing me to new experiences. I helped him find balance in his hectic life, teaching him to appreciate the quieter moments. We complemented each other perfectly, or so I thought. After graduation, we moved to the city together. Tom landed a job at a prestigious marketing firm, while I found work at a small graphic design company. We lived in a tiny studio apartment, saving every penny we could. Those early days were tough but magical. We'd stay up late dreaming about our future, the house we'd buy, the family we'd have, the adventures we'd go on. 2 years after graduation, Tom proposed. It was a perfect moment. He took me back to our college campus, to the very spot where we first met. He'd arranged for my favorite band to play in the background as he got down on one knee. I said yes without hesitation, feeling like the luckiest woman in the world. We got married a year later in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by friends and family. My parents, who had been skeptical of Tom at first, they thought he was too ambitious and worried he'd hurt me, had come to love him like a son. Tom's family welcomed me with open arms, especially his sister Lily, 26F, who quickly became one of my closest friends. The first few years of marriage were blissful. We both focused on our careers, supporting each other's ambitions. Tom was climbing the corporate ladder at his firm, impressing his bosses with his innovative ideas and charm. I had moved to a larger design agency and was starting to make a name for myself in the local art scene. 3 years into our marriage, we bought our dream home, a charming 3-bedroom house in a quiet suburb. We spent weekends fixing it up, painting walls and planting a garden. We talked about starting a family soon, agreeing that we'd try for a baby after Tom's next promotion, which he was sure was coming. But about 6 months ago, things started to change. It was subtle at first. Tom began working later hours, often not coming home until after I'd gone to bed. He said his team had landed a big client and they were working overtime to impress them. I believed him, of course. Why wouldn't I? Tom had always been honest with me. As the weeks went by, I noticed other changes. Tom became distant and moody. Our once lively dinner conversations dwindled to mere small talk. He stopped asking about my day or showing interest in my latest art projects. When I tried to talk to him about it, he'd brush me off, saying he was just stressed about work. Then came the business trips. Tom started traveling more frequently, sometimes for a week at a time. Again, I tried to be understanding. This was part of climbing the corporate ladder, right? But something felt off. He'd barely call or text while he was away, and when he did, the conversations felt forced and awkward. I tried to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. I threw myself into my work and my art, even taking on a few freelance projects to keep busy. I started spending more time with Lily, grateful for her company and support. She noticed the changes in Tom too, but assured me it was probably just work stress. Last month, I decided to surprise Tom at work. I thought maybe I could take him out to lunch, help relieve some of his stress. When I arrived at his office, his secretary told me he was out at a client meeting. I decided to wait, thinking he might be back soon. As I sat in the reception area, I overheard 2 of Tom's coworkers talking. They mentioned how lucky Tom was to have such an understanding wife, given how much time he was spending with Jessica from the marketing department. My heart sank. I had met Jessica at the company Christmas party last year. She was beautiful, outgoing, and single. I left the office without saying anything, my mind racing. When Tom came home that night, I confronted him about Jessica. At first, he denied everything, saying they were just colleagues working on a project together. But as I pressed for more details, his story started to fall apart. Finally, after hours of arguing, Tom admitted the truth. He and Jessica had been having an affair for the past 4 months. All those late nights and business trips were lies. He'd been spending time with her. I was devastated. The man I thought I knew, the man I had built my life with, had betrayed me in the worst way possible. I packed a bag and went to stay with my best friend, Emma, 29F. Emma and I have been friends since childhood. She was my maid of honor at my wedding and has always been there for me through thick and thin. When I showed up at her door in tears, she didn't ask questions. She just hugged me and let me cry. It's been 2 weeks since I left. Tom has been calling and texting nonstop, begging for forgiveness and promising to end things with Jessica. Part of me wants to believe him, to think we can work through this. But another part of me knows I deserve better. I'm lost and confused. I don't know if I should try to salvage my marriage or walk away. The thought of starting over at 28 terrifies me. We've built so much together, our home, our careers, our plans for the future. The idea of throwing all that away is heartbreaking. But the thought of staying with someone who could lie to me so easily is equally frightening. To complicate matters further, I ran into my high school boyfriend Alex, 29M, at a coffee shop yesterday. Alex and I dated for 2 years in high school and remained friends throughout college. We lost touch after I started dating Tom, mainly because Tom was oddly jealous of our friendship. Seeing Alex brought back a flood of memories. He was my first love, the boy who taught me to drive, who held my hand at my grandmother's funeral, who encouraged me to pursue art when everyone else told me to choose a more practical career. We talked for hours, and he was so kind and understanding when I told him about my situation. It made me wonder if I settled too quickly with Tom, if there might be someone out there who would treat me better. Alex told me he had recently moved back to town after working abroad for several years. He's single and just starting a new job at a local tech company. He gave me his number, saying to call if I ever needed to talk. Now I'm even more confused. Should I give Tom another chance? Should I file for divorce? Am I crazy for even considering reconnecting with Alex? The life I thought I had has crumbled around me, and I'm not sure how to pick up the pieces. My parents are pushing me to work things out with Tom. They keep talking about the sanctity of marriage and how everyone makes mistakes. But they don't know the full extent of Tom's betrayal. I haven't told them about the months of lies, the gaslighting, the way he made me doubt myself. Lily, Tom's sister, is torn. She loves her brother, but she's furious with him for hurting me. She's been checking in on me every day, bringing me food and offering a sympathetic ear. Her support means the world to me, but it also makes everything more complicated. If I leave Tom, will I lose Lily too? I don't know what to do. The future I had planned, the life I thought I was building, has disappeared. I feel like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff, unsure whether to step back to safety or take a leap into the unknown. Any advice would be appreciated. How do I even begin to rebuild my life after something like this? Update when it's been 3 months since my last post, and a lot has changed. First, I want to thank everyone for their advice and support. Your comments really helped me gain perspective on my situation and gave me the courage to make some difficult decisions. After much soul-searching and several long conversations with Emma, I decided to file for divorce. It wasn't an easy decision, but I knew I couldn't trust Tom anymore. The constant lying and gaslighting during his affair had taken a toll on my mental health, and I realized I deserved better. When I told Tom about my decision, he broke down. He promised to change, to go to couples therapy, to do anything to save our marriage. But I stood firm. I told him that his actions had consequences, and this was one of them. It was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had, but also one of the most liberating. The divorce process has been difficult, to say the least. Tom initially tried to contest it, claiming that I was overreacting and that we could work things out. But when I presented evidence of his affair, including text messages I had found, he finally agreed to an uncontested divorce. Dividing our assets has been challenging. We bought our house together, and neither of us wants to leave. We're currently in negotiations about who will buy the other out. It's strange to think about the home we built together being split up like this. Every room holds memories, both good and bad. The kitchen where we used to cook together, the living room where we'd curl up and watch movies, the spare room we had planned to turn into a nursery someday. It's heartbreaking to think about leaving, but equally painful to think about staying. As for Jessica, I found out that Tom had lied to her too. He had told her that we were separated and in the process of divorcing. When she found out the truth, she ended things with him immediately. Part of me feels a twisted sense of satisfaction knowing that his lies caught up with him, but mostly I just feel sorry for her. She was deceived too. Telling my parents about the divorce was one of the hardest things I've had to do. They were initially disappointed, still believing that marriage should be forever. But when I finally told them the full extent of Tom's betrayal, they rallied around me. My mom has been calling every day to check on me, and my dad even offered to come to town to help me pack up the house if needed. In the midst of all this chaos, Alex has been an unexpected source of support. We've been meeting for coffee regularly, and it's been nice to have someone to talk to who isn't directly involved in the situation. He's going through a tough time too. He recently lost his job due to company downsizing, so we've been supporting each other. Reconnecting with Alex has been like rediscovering a part of myself I had forgotten. He remembers the girl I was before Tom, before I started doubting myself and shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. He's been encouraging me to pick up my paintbrushes again, something I had all but abandoned in recent years. I'm not ready for a new relationship yet, but reconnecting with Alex has reminded me that there are good men out there. It's given me hope for the future, even if that future looks very different from what I had planned. Lily, Tom's sister, has been amazing through all of this. I was worried I would lose her in the divorce, but she's made it clear that she's on my side. She's furious with Tom for what he did and has been a constant source of support. We've grown even closer over the past few months. For now, I'm focusing on healing and rediscovering who I am outside of my marriage. I've started seeing a therapist to work through my trust issues, and I've taken up painting again. I've even signed up for a local art class, something I've been wanting to do for years but never found the time for. I've also been reconnecting with old friends who I had drifted away from during my marriage. It's been eye-opening to realize how much of myself I had lost in trying to be the perfect wife. I'm rediscovering my love for hiking, for spicy food, for staying up late reading, all things I had given up because they didn't fit with Tom's lifestyle. The road ahead is still uncertain, but for the first time in months, I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. I'm scared, yes, but also excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. I'm learning to trust myself again, to listen to my gut, and to prioritize my own happiness. There are still tough days, of course. Days when I miss the life I thought I had, when I question my decisions. But then I remember the pain and betrayal, the months of lies, and I know I'm doing the right thing. I deserve honesty, respect, and love, and I'm finally starting to believe that I'll find it, whether on my own or with someone new. Update 2: It's been half a year since my world turned upside down, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. The divorce was finalized last month, and while it was emotionally draining, I'm relieved it's over. In the end, we sold the house and split the proceeds. It was hard to say goodbye to the home where we had made so many memories, but it also felt like closing a chapter. Packing up the house was an emotional roller coaster. Every object seemed to hold a memory: the coffee maker we bought on our honeymoon, the throw pillows we argued over at IKEA, the painting I made for Tom's birthday last year. But with each box I packed, I felt a little lighter, a little more free. I've moved into a small apartment closer to the city center, and I'm enjoying the change of scenery. It's a cozy one-bedroom with big windows that let in lots of natural light, perfect for my newfound return to painting. I've set up a little studio in the corner of the living room, and I spend most of my free time there now. Work has been a welcome distraction throughout all of this. I threw myself into a big project redesigning our agency's main client's entire brand identity. It was challenging and time-consuming, but also incredibly rewarding. My boss was so impressed with my work that she gave me a promotion last month. I'm now leading my own team of designers, something I never thought I'd be doing at this point in my career. My boss has been incredibly understanding about everything, giving me flexibility when I need a time off for legal meetings or therapy sessions. It's made me realize how important it is to work in a supportive environment. Speaking of therapy, it's been incredibly helpful. I've been working through my trust issues and learning to set healthier boundaries. I've also realized how much of myself I had lost in my marriage to Tom. I had stopped painting, stopped going to art galleries, stopped doing so many things I loved because they didn't fit into Tom's idea of who I should be. Now, I'm rediscovering old passions and exploring new ones. I've joined a local hiking group and have been going on weekend trips, something Tom always found boring. Last weekend, we hiked to a beautiful waterfall, and I spent an hour sketching it while the others rested. It felt amazing to reconnect with nature and with my art in that way. As for Tom, I've heard through mutual friends that he's struggling. Apparently, he lost his job after his affair with Jessica came to light at work. Last I heard, he was moving back in with his parents. Part of me feels sorry for him, but a bigger part knows that these are the consequences of his actions. I hope he takes this time to reflect and grow as a person. Alex and I have continued to grow closer. We're taking things very slowly, we're both still healing from our past relationships, but there's definitely a connection there. He's been so patient and understanding, never pushing for more than I'm ready to give. We've been going on casual dates, mostly just hanging out and talking. It's nice to be with someone who really listens and values my opinions. Last week, Alex surprised me by setting up an easel in the park and suggesting we paint together. It was such a thoughtful gesture, and it reminded me of why I fell for him all those years ago. He's always been supportive of my art in a way that Tom never was. One unexpected development is that I've reconnected with Tom's sister, Lily. She reached out to me after the divorce, saying she missed our friendship and didn't agree with what Tom had done. We've met up a few times, and it's been nice to maintain that connection to the family I was a part of for so long. Lily has been going through some changes of her own. She just started law school and is loving it. It's been great to see her pursuing her dreams. Overall, I'm in a much better place than I was 6 months ago. I'm learning to trust my instincts, to value myself, and to not settle for less than I deserve. The future still feels uncertain, but now that uncertainty feels more like possibility than fear. I'm excited to see what the next chapter of my life holds. Update 3: It's hard to believe a year has passed since my life was turned upside down. Looking back, I'm amazed at how far I've come and how much I've grown. The biggest news is that Alex and I are officially a couple now. We took things slow, really getting to know each other again as adults, and it's been wonderful. He's so different from Tom. He's open, honest, and genuinely cares about my feelings and opinions. We have our disagreements, of course, but we always communicate and work through them together. Our relationship has been healing in many ways. Alex encourages my art in a way Tom never did. He's even helped me set up a small online shop to sell my paintings. It's been more successful than I ever imagined, and I'm now considering pursuing art full-time. Last month, Alex got a job offer in another city about 2 hours away. It's a great opportunity for him, a senior software engineer position at a growing tech startup. It's a big step up in his career, but it means we'll have to navigate a long-distance relationship. We've talked a lot about it, and we're committed to making it work. I'm nervous about the distance, given my past trust issues, but I also know that Alex isn't Tom. We're planning to alternate weekends visiting each other, and we've set up regular video chat dates. Work continues to go well. Since my promotion, I've taken on even more responsibilities, and I'm being considered for a creative director position. My boss has even hinted at the possibility of opening a branch office in the city where Alex is moving, and has asked if I'd be interested in heading it up. It's a big decision, and I'm taking my time to think it through. The idea of a fresh start in a new city is appealing, but I'm also scared of leaving the safety net I've built here. I've maintained my friendship with Lily, Tom's sister. She's been a great support through everything. Last week, she confided in me that Tom has started drinking heavily. Apparently, he's struggling to hold down a job, but has been living off his savings. While I feel bad for him, I know it's not my responsibility to help him. I hope he gets the help he needs, but I've learned the importance of maintaining boundaries. My relationship with my parents has improved significantly. They were initially disappointed about the divorce, but as they learned more about what happened, they've become my biggest supporters. Mom and I have a standing Sunday brunch date, and Dad has been teaching me about investing and financial planning, skills I realized I needed to develop on my own. I've continued with therapy, although I've reduced the frequency of my sessions. My therapist has been helping me work through some lingering anxiety about my new relationship with Alex. I'm learning to trust not just him, but myself and my own judgment. It's a slow process, but I can feel myself getting stronger every day. My art has been flourishing. I've had my work featured in a local gallery, and I'm preparing for my first solo exhibition next month. It's something I never would have had the confidence to do a year ago. Alex has been incredibly supportive, helping me frame pieces and even building a website to showcase my work. Overall, life is good. It's not perfect, and there are still challenges ahead, but I feel equipped to handle them now. I'm excited about the future in a way I haven't been in a long time. The pain of Tom's betrayal has faded, replaced by gratitude for the growth it ultimately led to. I'm stronger now, more sure of myself and what I want out of life. As I look ahead to the next year, I'm filled with hope and excitement. Whether I decide to move to be with Alex or stay and continue building my career here, I know I'll be okay. For the first time in a long time, I'm living life on my own terms, and it feels amazing. Update 4 and other 6 months have flown by, and life continues to surprise me in the best ways possible. The biggest news is that I decided to take the job offer and move to Alex's city. It wasn't an easy decision. I loved my apartment, my friends, and the life I had built for myself post-divorce. But after months of long-distance dating, Alex and I realized we wanted to be together full-time. The opportunity to head up a new branch office was too good to pass up, both professionally and personally. The move has been both exciting and challenging. Starting a new branch office is a lot of work, but it's also incredibly rewarding. I'm building a team from the ground up and implementing all the ideas I've had over the years. It's pushed me out of my comfort zone in the best way possible. Alex has been incredibly supportive, often bringing me dinner at the office when I'm working late. We decided to move in together, which was a big step for both of us. We found a lovely apartment with a spare room that I've turned into an art studio. Living together has its adjustments, but overall it's been wonderful. We complement each other well. He's great at cooking, I'm better at organizing. We're learning to compromise and communicate even better than before. My art career has taken off in unexpected ways. The solo exhibition I mentioned in my last update was a huge success, and I've since had my work featured in several galleries in our new city. I've even started teaching a weekly art class at a local community center. It's incredibly fulfilling to share my passion with others and watch them discover their own creativity. I've made new friends here, mostly through a local book club and a yoga class I joined. It's nice to have my own social circle outside of Alex's friends and coworkers. I've even started mentoring a young woman at work who reminds me a lot of myself when I first started my career. It feels good to be in a position where I can offer guidance and support to others. As for Tom, I heard from Lily that he finally sought help for his drinking problem. He's been sober for 3 months now and is slowly putting his life back together. While I wish him well, I'm glad we've maintained our distance. This journey has taught me the importance of setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. My parents came to visit last month, and it was great to show them around my new city. They seem to have fully accepted Alex now, especially after seeing how happy we are together. Dad even joked about walking me down the aisle again someday, which made me realize that for the first time since my divorce, I'm open to the idea of remarrying in the future. Looking back on the past 18 months, I'm amazed at how much has changed. The pain and betrayal I felt seemed like a lifetime ago. While I wouldn't wish that experience on anyone, I can now see how it led me to where I am today. Stronger, more self-aware, and truly happy. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm excited to find out. For now, I'm enjoying building my career, nurturing my relationship with Alex, and continuing to grow as an individual. Life has a funny way of working out, often in ways we least expect. I'm grateful for the journey, even the painful parts, because it's led me to where I am now, happy, fulfilled, and excited about what's to come.